All right. Well, welcome to the show. We typically start with like finding out your why for doing HYROX and anything else that you do. What's the motivator behind it?
Okay, I'm going to talk you about my why in HYROX. It's all about I was a triathlon, a professional triathlete, uh, and I have a family. I have two kids, one of 5 years and one of 1 year. And for the last 2 years as a professional triathlete, I felt that I was not being the parent I want to be. Okay, because I was training too much volume, too much hours, and I was really tired the rest of the day to try to play with them. So yeah, I do HYROX because of Pelayo. I have raced Pelayo in triathlon for many years, and since July last year, 2024, I didn't even know what HYROX was. But yeah, I was following Pelayo in Instagram. I saw that he was doing like such a different sport, and it seems to be funny. And yes, on in August, final of August, I have a call with him of like 90 minutes. He told me that he thought I will be good on HYROX and that I will enjoy it a lot. So yeah, on September I went to a box here in Valencia where I live. I'm Spanish, so I live in Valencia in the east coast of Spain. And yeah, I started training in the second week of September, and I enjoy a lot the training. I I have been resting for 1 month and a half. So after my last triathlon, it was an Ironman in Frankfurt, the European Championships. I finished there my professional career, and I started HYROX in September. I enjoyed it a lot, and when I started training, I feel that with 8 to 12 hours, it was good to train per week, and that's like less than the half of the training I was doing for triathlon. So yeah, now I'm really happy. I feel that I'm a better parent. I can be playing with my kids on the afternoon when they finish school, and yeah, I feel it's a sport that can suit me a lot because in triathlon I was too much like a bigger guy, and now I'm the smallest one. So so yeah, that's funny. And yeah, now but I'm a very family guy, and the main reason is about my family. I can play with my kids in the afternoon. That when I was training for Ironman, after 6 hours of training, I was really tired and I only wanted to be on the sofa. My uh, my 5 years old kid that is named Balu, he wanted to play with me, and I was destroyed about training. So now I'm training like 2 sessions of 1 hour each one, and I'm not feeling that tired, so I can play in the afternoon with them. So that's the main reason.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Um, we've touched on. I'll get into your training in a little bit, but your
Okay.
triathlon. So were you doing triathlon from quite a young age?
Well, I started like Ronchevik, like Alex. I started swimming. I
Okay.
had a swimming background. I started swimming like when I was 5 years old, and I finished swimming at 14 years old. But in that 10 years, I also trained tennis on the weekends. I was in judo, in rugby, I in football. I was playing different sports, but my main sport was the swim. I didn't train too much as Alex did. I was a swimmer of 5 days per week, and I only swim one time per day, so it was between 2K and 4K per day. So it's true that I was a 50 and 100-meter freestyle swimmer, so it was a shorter distance. And yeah, I was a swimmer, and when I was 14 years old, I passed to triathlon. I started triathlon. Every summer, I was when I finished the swimming season, I always made a triathlon just for fun, but with no training the bike or the run. And yeah, from 10 to 14, I only did one on summer. And when I was 14, I started training for triathlon. And yeah, I entered quickly the national federation because they were looking for fast swimmers. Um, because the strategy for the federation was to get a fast swimmer, so they are already in the main group, in the first group on the bike, and they were thinking about that you can train the bike and the run, and you can improve more quickly than the swim. That the swim is more like a early sport. If you haven't practiced it on your early age, it's gonna be difficult to have a good level. So I was a very good swimmer. I started running with some injuries, because the swimmer that starts running, if you are not careful, you can go with periostitis and some kind of injuries. But yeah, I love triathlon. The bike was like natural for me. It was like um, a sport that I'm naturally good in it. I hoped when I started HYROX, I didn't know which were the workouts. I hope that the bike was one of the workouts, but it was not. And yeah, I started like being professional when I finished university. I started the sports science. I studied sports science in university here in Valencia. And when I was 23, I started my professional career in triathlon. And yeah, I raced like internationally. I had some podiums in short distance. I tried to be in the Olympic team. It was my goal, my main goal, but it was really difficult in Spain, because we had like 3 world champions, when at the same time that I was trying to be, that it was Javier Gomez Noya, Mario Mola, Fernando Alarza. They were really good, and in triathlon you can only be three members of the team. So it was almost impossible. And yeah, and a curiosity of my triathlon career is that the main reason I started doing half distance and Ironman distance, just the long distance of the triathlon, it was because of the swim. And I was a really good swimmer, but I'm not an aggressive person. And the first meters on a triathlon race, it's crazy. You can receive a punch on your head, and you have to be really fast on that first meters. And when I was racing for half distance and Ironman distance, the swim was not so important, so there were not so many good swimmers. And in short distance, there were a lot of good swimmers, like 50 people, 50 triathletes at the same time, swimming the same pace, going to the first buoy, like it was like 100, 200 meters from the start. And if you weren't the fastest, you will receive a punch. And I was like, I blocked when I was swimming that pace, and somebody hit me. So I decided to make the jump to the long distance, that it was like more relaxed on the swim. And yeah, when I think in 2015, I started my half distance career. It's like the long distance, and yep, after that, I started Ironman distance. That is the last year. It was my last race as an Ironman triathlete.
Okay, amazing. And so you were doing that professionally. That was like your full-time job, was it?
Yeah, I have always been a coach, online
Right.
coach. I continue on the coaching online for triathlon and now for HYROX with Pele Performance. I have joined the team of Pelayo and Elena. And but yeah, I was like, I had a like they pay me for racing in triathlon. I have they pay me good money, so I can live from only from triathlon. But I love the coaching side of the sport too, so I maintain the first years of professional. I was like on the pool, like taking times of a triathlon team here in Valencia. But when I started having better results, the I was only on the part of the online coaching, so I can rest more and not be on my feet for 2-3 hours every day.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, did you go to the Ironman World Championships?
Mm, that was a that was like something I have in my heart. I raced my first year of Ironman. It was in 2019. I raced my first race in Lanzarote, in the island of Lanzarote here in Spain. Um, and I made third. It was not uh, it was not sufficient to get my slot for Kona. And then I raced at the last part of the year in Wisconsin, Ironman Wisconsin. It was my second Ironman. I got the win there. I ran like a 2:42 marathon after the 180
Wow.
kilometers of the bike. So it was crazy. I ran really fast there. And but now they are running really fast times. Now it's crazy. Now the young guys are like 2:30, 2:35 is the normality now. And yes, I raced Wisconsin. I got the slot for Kona there, but that was for Kona 2020, and it was the COVID, so they canceled Kona. And I had to race in Las Vegas. That it was the first time that the Ironman World Championships was going to be outside Kona.
Hmm.
So it was in Las Vegas, in St. George, and I get injury like 2 or 3 months before, so I couldn't go. I had the slot to go, and I couldn't go to the World Championship. So I don't know how to say it in English, but my heart is broken about this, and I want to be in Elite 15 next year, and to be in another World Championships, but
Yeah.
in another sport. I also classified for World Championships in 70.3, in Ironman 70.3. It was in Port Elizabeth in South Africa in 2018. But my main goal was Ironman. To be in Kona, it was my dream, and I I I get the slot, but finally I couldn't travel. So yeah, that was a pity.
Yeah, yeah. I bet. I bet. Um, you mentioned your weight earlier, and you're like quite big for a triathlete. How much do you weigh?
Now I weigh like 83,
Okay.
84. When I was a professional triathlete, I was in 78, 79. But I have a thing that it was a problem when I was racing in triathlon, and it was that in the off season, after 2 or 3 weeks of eating and not training, I was putting weight like 5 or 6 kilos in 2 3 weeks, and I think it's because my my parent is a rugby. It was a professional rugby player, so he's a big guy, and the normality for me is I think, is to be big.
Hmm.
So I have in the past I have been with some problems with food disorder. I think is the name, because yes, in triathlon you want to be, for Ironman distance, you want to be like really thin. That was my mentality before. Now, if I could talk with me 10 years, with my me of 10 years before, I
Hmm.
will say that don't worry about the food, because yes, that made me like be all the time in a calorie deficit, and to get injury a lot of time, to be sick. And when I started with my 2 kids, when I had the 2 kids, it's more. And yeah, I had like problems with food, and now I'm really happy because it's not a problem to have 1, 2, 3 more kilos, and I'm not hungry anymore, because when you are hungry, like your behavior get worse, your sleep get worse, you can't absorb all the training. Now I'm training less, I'm eating more, and I feel much better. And my goal when I started HYROX, after my eating disorder, it was to, when I'm hungry, eat when you are hungry. Uh, don't If your kid wants an ice cream, get an ice cream with him. It's not a problem, because yes, when I was training for triathlon, and I wanted to lose weight, it was like uh, taking a really big salad with no carbs. So I was, I'm 84 kilograms, and I had to reduce to 78. It was crazy. Now I think it, and it was crazy. And yeah, if I now I think I'm in the perfect weight. The goal was to tell myself that eat what you need, train what you need, and the body composition the will be the right. Now I have more fats than when I was a triathlete. It's normal, but it's not a problem. Looking and in Barcelona, I think, well, we will talk of Barcelona and of Berlin for sure, but in Barcelona, I think I did a better performance than in Berlin, and I was not the same weight, so I was like a little bit bigger in Barcelona than it was in Berlin. So the main goal is to just eat when you need, and don't be obsessed about food. Now I can read in Instagram, because I'm a really freak of sport, and I follow all the elite guys, and I saw that some guys are now trying to lose weight for the world championships, and I think that's a really big mistake, because you are not going to recover well. Your you are going to be more injury. You can get the injury more. I don't know how to say it in English, but yeah, it's dangerous
Yeah.
to try to lose weight fast now. And it's only 2 kilos, but 2 kilos is a lot. But
Yeah.
because yeah, you have to take a lot. You have to be in a deficit, in a calorie deficit, and the hormones will be like crazy on your body. So I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's great that you're now, in a happier place with it, and
Yeah.
it sounds like you're like the way you think about it is like you're at a more natural weight, like where you feel you should be, and you're not like overly thinking about how important it is or the number on the scale. It's like what feels natural to you.
Mhm.
And I do agree. I mean, to be honest, we've talked about it a lot on this podcast, but I do agree with you in that now is not the time to be losing weight for the world championships. Like if you do have to do it, and maybe there are some people that do have to do it, I personally think like the off season is the time to do it when you're not trying to fuel your training and avoid injuries and all those kinds of things. Doing it at this stage, yeah, doesn't make sense to me personally.
No.
um uh you did you like you've come into HYROX and you've done like very well, obviously, and we talked about your weight, but have you always done strength training alongside the triathlon? Has that always been in there or not?
Never, never, never. I have never lift weights. It was something I wanted to do, but I did like the last 2 years of training for Ironman. I did like injury prevention movements but never like heavy weights or something like that. It was more like core, glutes, and this kind of thing to try to prevent injuries. And if you are going to ask me, because I have listened almost all of your podcast, I told you before that you are doing an amazing job, and I have to tell you that when after the fourth podcast I heard of the rock slides, I told myself I want to be there one day, and now I'm here, so I'm happy. And yeah, if you are going to ask me about my one RM or something like that, or 3 RM, I have no idea. I have to work on it. Uh, I want to finish my season to do a really good pre-season to yes to be on the gym and to lift weight, to see what I can do with yes in I don't know, the back squat and all of this, deadlift and all of this. I want to try, but I have never worked on it.
Okay, but you're coping with the pro weights very well, obviously. Let's talk about like your HYROX. So you came in uh, and you started with an open race. So I know you've done a 55-minute open in London.
Mhm.
Um, how was that? Was there anything that was a surprise to you? Did you struggle with the weights or anything? I mean, 55 minutes is obviously very quick, so it seems like you did very well.
um, I on London, it was my first individual race. I raced in mixed doubles with my wife in Madrid.
Okay.
Um, I think it was October or November, and then I did London. The main goal in London was to just to finish the race. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do 100 wall balls with 6 kilos, because when I started training, I wasn't able to do like 10 wall balls with 6 kilos. So yeah, I think the sleds were not a problem. It was more about the wall balls and the farmer carry. The farmer carry was really hard at the beginning, but yeah, I did like I started training the second week of September, and I don't know, London was in December, maybe
Uh,
December, mid
yeah,
of
around
December.
the
Yeah,
start of December, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like 1.5 months, or no, 2.5 months of training, and my training was very specific. I started like from the first week pushing the sleds, pulling the sled, and trying to do wall balls. with EMOMs, like 10 minutes EMOM, 10 wall balls of 6 kilos each minute. And when I arrived to London, I felt that I was running to recover and trying to finish the fastest as possible on the workouts. But my movements and my efficiency in each workout was horrible. I uh, Now it's horrible too, but in London it was like I don't know. It's like a kid starting something that you are not coordinated. It was crazy. I was watching the last week. I was watching some videos of London, and my burpees were horrible. And yeah, but my running was on point. So I was recovering like at 320 pace more or less. So that was fast enough to do that time. I also think that we are going to talk about fast or slow courses for sure after Berlin, after the controversy of Berlin. But I think that London was also a fast one.
Okay. Okay. Certainly not Berlin levels though.
No, Berlin was really, really fast. But we are going to talk it afterwards. But yeah, I have my opinion. I will try to do my best with my English to give my opinion. But I think yeah, it will be interesting.
I just want to ask one thing. When we were talking about the weight, and typically people think of losing weight for your running, like can improve your running. And I spoke to Dan Plews on here, and I don't like he was in a similar situation. Like he's added weight to come into HYROX, and I don't think he felt like his running had suffered as much as maybe he expected it would. Like, is that what you found? Like your running is still in a very good place. It hasn't suffered as a result of adding 4 or 5 kilograms.
Yes, my case is curious because I think I'm running. I have a better VT. Second threshold. My second threshold that is like the main pace of the HYROX. I think it has improved because when I raced my last 3-4 years, it was like focus in my tempo running in like a marathon pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very efficient at like 3:45, 4 minutes per kilometer pace. That it was like my between thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
And now, before I was training for triathlon, I was training like always tired on the run because maybe if I had intervals on the run, uh, I did it on the evening, and on the morning I have swim 4K and bike like 3 hours. So when I train on the run, it was always compromise, like you call it in HYROX.
Yeah.
And I was always training tired, and now it's really different because when I have intervals on the run, it's my main session of the day. So I will do it on the morning, and I will do it rested. So I think I have improved a lot my second threshold because of this, because I train it like I'm not tired when
Mm-hmm.
I start training. And yes, I think it has improved it. I when I was in Ironman distance, my threshold was between 325, I think 330, and now it's like 312, 318. So yeah, I have improved, and I have more weight in it in my body, but I'm more powerful. And I start my key runs. I always start them like rested, so I can run faster, be more efficient, and my form on running is better. And one thing that you talked, like the last podcast I have listened, it was like with Jake Girden, and he has worked a lot on his cadence.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is really, really important for HYROX. I have worked a lot on with my cadence and in the treadmill, and I try to. to have a more cadence running, to up my cadence, and it's a main goal for me in the races to um, after the workout start the first 200 300 fast and with a high cadence, so you can flush your legs and let all that lactate that you produce in the workout, like yes, try to flush them. So I think it's really important, and I have worked a lot on it, and it was not a main goal when I was training for Ironman.
Okay, that's interesting. Are you aiming for 180 steps per minute in terms of your cadence? Is that the goal?
Mm, it's not the goal, because I think that every person has an individual cadence. My normal cadence is low. If I don't think on it, I am a 160, 165.
Right.
And so for me, a 170, 175 cadence is high. So I'm not measuring it. I'm a data guy, but I'm not measuring it. But it's almost by feeling. I have to be conscious of my body, of myself, and try to yes, to make a high cadence. But it's normal that if I'm at almost 190, 190 height, is the word? Yes.
Uh, no,
One
I'm not sure.
190 meters. 190 meters.
Oh, 190 centimeters height. Right,
Yeah.
right. Sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And if you are smaller, your cadence, you are
Right.
usually going to be a more high cadence.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to improve my natural cadence to be a more higher cadence.
Okay, that makes sense. And just to go back to what you were saying, as you finish a station like that first 100 and 200 meters, you're trying to go like higher cadence. Is that, and that's to flush out the legs, but with a view that you'll return a little bit more to normal after that 200 meters, but it's just that first 200 you think is critically important for a higher cadence. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say. And I will say that I'm focusing when I exit the workout. I'm focusing on the cadence, and then I after that 200 300 meters, I will go to my normal cadence and don't think about it. Just think about my pace and like the next workout. If
Mm-hmm.
it's a workout that I'm not good on it, so I want to be more rested when I arrive, so I will slow my pace. Or if I think I'm good on it, I will go up on my pace, and just like then I will think about the strategy of the race.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's great. Um, so let's talk Barcelona first. So the Barcelona last chance qualifier, you were like in the in the top three for much of the race, uh, looking really good. And I should say as well, like your first pro race, you went. I think you did 58 minutes something. So you're one of few men to do a sub 60 on their debut in the pro division, and you were fairly consistently. I think you've done 58 minutes. Um, tell us about that race in Barcelona, and then ultimately, I think like you come unstuck at the wall balls. So yeah, can you tell
Mm.
us about that?
Yeah. Barcelona was the main goal of the season. When I started, I I didn't know I will be at the level of the to enter and the Elite 15 World Championships. But when I did my second pro race, I felt that I was in shape to fight for that for those three slots in Barcelona. So the main goal started to be Barcelona. I was training good, really good, but 2.5 weeks before the race, I get sick. My two childs and my wife get sick, and I was behind them. And it was like 2 weeks of really hard. I couldn't breathe. It was really similar to what happened to John Wynn before Glasgow, I think.
Glasgow, yeah.
Yeah, I talked with him, and it was really, really similar. And I arrived to Barcelona like at my 80%, I think. I was not feeling good. My heart rate was really high. But I'm a really competitive athlete, and I started like the race like if I wasn't if the the same as if my preparation was perfect. So I started pushing on the first run and on the ski. I think I was second or third on the ski. Uh, and I'm pushing on the push on the pool. I think I was already second or third after. Well, I was with John Wynn after the pool, so if I was with him, it's a good signal, no? Yeah, I felt great on the race. I can tell you that the 2 weeks of almost not training uh, give me a reason to be like in less shape. I think I was really really good there. I ran fast on the stations. I felt great, but on the road I sweat a lot. I sweat a lot, even on Berlin, that it was like 10, 12 degrees. If you watch my t-shirt, uh, some photos of my t-shirt, it was like it was raining, and it was not raining, it was my sweat. So I sweat a lot, and on the I use gloves for the pool and for the wall balls. And on the road, if you see the highlights of the race on YouTube, you can see that my gloves were on the floor on the road, that they fall of my pants, and I didn't notice it until the last run before the wall balls. And I arrived to the wall balls. I was not thinking, oh my god, I'm going to do I don't know, I'm not going to do 20 no reps. No, I was not thinking about nothing. I said, okay, I have no gloves, but I am on second place. Young win. I have the 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 good of racing on at home in Barcelona. It was that I had a lot of people that gave me like that young win that was in fourth place was 1 minute 15 or 1 minute 10 behind me. So I thought if I did a 4 minutes 20 wall ball, I will have my slot for the World Championships. I get the ball, and when I started the wall balls, from the beginning, I felt that it was really slippery. I couldn't do a good wall ball. Finally, I had 26 wall ball on the screen, 26 no reps on the screen, and two of them were for not breaking parallel, but 24 of them were for not touching the, how do you
Center of
say,
the target.
the target. And but 24 is what the sensor count, but I in my head I was counting like 35, because some of the wall balls I threw, they didn't even touch the target, so
Hmm.
it got up and down just
Hmm.
on my head. And yeah, that was like a nightmare, because when I entered the wall balls, I thought I had the slot, and after 50 wall balls, I knew that it wasn't going to be the day because yes, the gloves are so important for me to do a good wall ball workout. And yeah, finally it was for Young Win. I think that the things happen for something, and that this was not my year to be on the World Championships. I think that next year it will be, I hope. And yeah, you can see that in Berlin. It's true that the system is not the same, I think, because in Berlin it was like for not elite 15 configuration
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
Berlin, and it was easier. I only had one no rep,
Okay.
so it was much easier. And but I did like a 3:45 or something like this, and in Barcelona I did 6:30. It was crazy to be 6 minutes there throwing the ball. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. Just in case people don't know what you've just referred to there, uh, apparently it sounds like there's like a slightly different configuration for the accuracy required for elite races or elite qualifying races or even the pro doubles qualifying races, that there is a greater degree of accuracy needed on the wall ball targets than there is in a typical pro race or open race or any other race, really. So like that 26 no reps may not have been the case in a more normal race. So okay, that's interesting. All right, but you feel like gloves are very important for you, obviously, and I can
Yes.
relate. Like I'm very sweaty in these races, and I've struggled before when the ball gets wet. It's like just so hard to catch. But then Berlin, so you've touched on Berlin and you've touched on the course, but like you did a very, very quick time there in Berlin. I think it makes you actually like, I'm not sure, I need to double check this, maybe even the fifth fastest like pro athlete ever. And obviously the wall balls improved. Was it, do you feel like the course was significantly easier and faster, or you were just faster on the day?
Okay. I talked with Tom Rogers like 2 days ago, and I told him that because he wrote me in Instagram to tell me that congratulations for the race in Berlin. It was a fast time. Yeah, but I told him that my performance in Barcelona since the wall ball was better than my performance in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if I had the same wall balls from in Barcelona and in Berlin, that means that in Barcelona it was like a 55 something. So it's like 1 minute and a half better time in Berlin. So that means a lot of things. It's a fast race, that's for sure. I don't know if it was shorter. I felt like the run was a little bit shorter. Not the 1K run, because you have to count the run and the rock zone. So
Mm-hmm.
in Berlin, I think I ran 30 low, and in Barcelona, I ran 30 high. So it was not a big difference, like 40 seconds. But for me, the big difference were the sleds were like in a wood platform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you had like a wood platform, and then you had the turf, the turf.
Yeah, turf
So
or
the
carpet. Yeah.
sleds, yeah, the carpet. So the sleds were much easier than all the other races I have done in Spain.
Okay.
In Spain, it's true that it seems that the sleds are heavier. I don't know, because I don't have such the experience I need to feel that. But I felt, yes, I felt in Berlin it was much easier to move the sled than it was in Barcelona, in Bilbao, or in Valencia. Then the temperature, of course, it was like 10, 12 degrees. I think it's the perfect temperature to run. Then another important thing, I don't know if HYROX have it on their notes, or I don't know if in Berlin, when we enter the HYROX station, the ski and the row, it was like 8 or 10 skis and
Mhm.
row that you have to run until you start pulling the ski, and then you exit like really fast. So I think it was like 3 or 4 seconds until you start skiing, and 2 or 3 seconds until you go out of the workout. And in Barcelona, that was not the case, because like you had uh, 2 lines of 40 skis,
Yeah.
so you have to run all the way through the station. And there, I don't know, but maybe you can have 15, 20, 25 seconds more only on the ski and the erg, and the ski and the row, because they were in similar distribution. So there you have another 30 to 40 seconds on those two stations. So if you start like the configurations of the wall ball were like the amateur configuration, then the sleds were easier. The the workouts of the ski and the row were faster, because you didn't have to run so much, and
Mhm.
when you enter and when you exit. Then the temperature of the race, and then another thing is the one lap, only one lap of 1K or 900 or 800 meters, what you want, but only one lap, and 50 minutes of separation between the last wave of the double mix, I think it was, and the first wave of the pro division. So the first like 4 or 5 laps were alone for us.
Okay.
So that was also really fast, because it's not the same when you run a 5 minutes per kilometer pace and you have to make a zigzag. It's easier for you than if you have to do a zigzag running 320, 325 pace. And another thing is that that was new for me in Berlin, that the pass for the public, it was like a bridge.
Mhm.
So you don't have to go left or right.
Yeah.
And in Barcelona, the left or right for the pass of the public, it was in the curve, in
Mhm.
the yes, in the turn. Sorry, in the turn,
On the turn, so it's
on
almost
the
like you had
turn.
to take a wider turn around the corner because
Okay,
they were
so
crossing.
yeah, I had to do it like 5 or 6 times going outside.
Yeah.
So that was like, I don't know, between 5, 10 seconds more for each time, if you take it inside or if you take it outside, because you are doing more meters. So if you get all those things,
Mhm.
you have a really fast course. But I thought what I said to Tom Rogers, that I think that my performance was better on Barcelona than in Berlin. But I have to take that in Berlin, there were a lot of athletes that had raced majors, that are going to race in Elite 15 in these World Championships in Chicago. And I was first, like 1 minute from the second, and like 2 minutes with people that they have demonstrated that they have a lot of level. So I have to be happy with it. And that means that a lot of people tell me that if I deserve that time, and I don't know if I deserve that time. I don't think that I'm faster, because now I have the national record in Spain
Mhm.
for the pro division, and I'm sure, because I know it, that I'm not faster than Pelayo, and Pelayo has a slower time than me.
Mhm.
So of course that if Pelayo will have race, that race will be faster than me. But he didn't come here because he's in USA. So it's hard for the American people to come here, or Australian to come here. But I only wanted to say that if it was for me, I went to Berlin to have a fast time because I knew that last year it was fast. So I told Lizarazu told me, you have to go to this if you want to be on the Elite 15 next year, because it's a time-based qualification system. So I went there to Berlin to try to have a good time to qualify for next year. But if it was for me, I prefer to race to people, not a time-based qualification. I want like in Barcelona that we race. I think it's better also for me because I'm really competitive and I will give my 110% if I race side by side by other people. But the qualification system, I don't know if it will change for next year, but it is what it is. And I choose the race, and a lot of good athletes choose the race because they knew that it was going to be fast. So that's why also they are a lot of really good times, because it was almost the same density of people in Barcelona, of good people in Barcelona than in Berlin. And I have to take that I was in first position there, and that I was like 1 minute and 2 minutes in front of really good people. So that is what I have to take of Berlin.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about your training, your running, your paces. Like you've touched on like your threshold paces and things like that. But do you know where you would be for a 5K or a 10K or half marathon at the moment?
It's a lot of time that I didn't did a 5K. A 10K, I did it in January, and it was like a 3:08 pace for the 10K. I think it was 31 something, 31, I don't know.
20? Yeah,
Yes,
31,
something
yeah.
like that. And I will have to look, but I don't remember. Maybe 30 high. I don't know, but yeah, my threshold. I have measured my threshold, my second threshold, in some test, and I thought it was like 312, 318, and when I train the threshold, I train it with a lactate meter. So it's about 3.8 millimoles. If I go higher than this, it's like when I start to produce more lactate that I can use like energy. So yeah, I train a lot of threshold. I have trained when I started, I trained with a Spanish coach. His name is Robert Dalakian in Hybrid Box. And I started training with him for someone that teach me how the movements, the pattern movements of all the workouts. And then I take the planification of Peresini. It's the name, Anthony Peresini.
Oh yeah, right.
The husband of Lauren Weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, I did like 2 months with him, and I started doing the double threshold days, and I felt that it was really good. So I maintained this for all my weeks since now. And yeah, I train the double threshold days. I train running on the morning and ski or row on the evening. And yeah, I train these double sessions, double threshold session. I training 2 times per week. So I will do 2 times per week that, and another like tempo running, and then an easy running with some strides. So if you want, I can talk to you about my running on the pre-season. On the pre-season, I do like 3 sessions, like 2 double thresholds or VO2. sessions. On the morning I run, on the evening I do ergs, and then the third one will be a tempo. And when it's like I enter the specific phase of the training, I will do 4 sessions of running. I'm not a high volume guy. I'm training like 15 hours when I'm not racing in the precision that I have not have precision because I'm only here in the sport for nine months. But when I was not going to race, I trained for 15 hours, and the last 3 months that it was like racing, 3 weeks of between races, 4 weeks between races, 2 weeks between races, like this. I train like the race week 8 hours, 7-8 hours, and the weeks in between it was like 12 to 10 hours. So I hear your podcast and I know that people are trained like 20 hours, all of this. I have trained a lot of hours, a lot of volume when I train for triathlon, and I think I don't have to train more of this aerobic zone 2 zones. I think I have to be more on the high um, zones like zone 4, zone 5. And because I have to get used another time to be in a high heart rate situation. So I train more like this, like
Okay.
not so much volume and much more intensity.
Okay, interesting. I think, like you mentioned Alex Ronkovic earlier. I mean, I haven't spoke to him that recently, but I think his approach is reasonably similar. Like he's got years and years of swimming and like as a base, and then like a lot of his running now is of the higher intensity because he's got that huge aerobic base behind him that allows him to do that kind of intensity.
Yeah, but I'm surprised of Alex because he have never run a high volume training in running. So he's running fast because he's running really fast, and he says he's running only between 40-60 kilometers. That is the same I'm running now, but I have been running for many years like 80-90 kilometers, and it's curious how fast he can run with that low volume. That means that the running, he was a swimmer, but the running is something natural in him, because if not, you will have to do like John Wynn, Graham Halliday, all of these guys. They are high volume guys in volume in running because they need to do it because they didn't have work all of this for such many years as I did.
Yeah, it's like they're playing catch up, if you like, and they've got to get the mileage in now because you guys got it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for this. So, in terms of like your mindset and where your mind goes during the race, do you think of anything in particular that helps you when things are getting tough?
No, I'm a guy that I can like put my mind in white. I don't know how to say it in English. Like don't think about anything more than the strategy of the race. I try to be very efficient in my movements. So I think about a lot about my body. And it's true that the first races on the wall balls, I had like, I was thinking about how many wall balls I have, how many wall balls does my my competitor have, and all of these things. But in Berlin, I try to just focus on myself, focus on the movements, and I don't think about nothing. I don't even listen the music of the of the environment. You know that in HYROX it's like high music and all the
Hmm.
people cheering, and I don't hear nothing about even my family is cheering, and I don't only on the road I can like make a smile to someone because it's more like a rest station for me. But in the others, I'm just focused on myself, just listening my body. What is my body telling me? If I can push harder, or I have to like stay a little bit slower so I can make the finish line the faster as possible.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. All right. And what's your are you going to Chicago anyway? Will you race in like the age groups or not?
No, I told my wife that if I was classified for Elite 15, I will go, but if not, I'm not going to pay for the travel. It's really expensive, and yeah, I told you a very familiar guy. I love to be with my kids, to spend time with them, and to go to Chicago. If I travel to Chicago, I want to do it good, so I will go 1 week before to get used to the time zone, to the weather, to the pressure, all of this. And I don't want to be like 1.5 weeks far from my family. So no, I will stay here. I'm going to race another race in Spain. In It's not a HYROX race, but it's a hybrid race.
Right.
So I will race not this weekend, next weekend, and then maybe I do a 2 or 3 triathlons in summer, and then I want to get my spot for the major. So I think that my first race will be on September or October in Europe, maybe Maastricht or Hamburg. That it seems to be a fast race, or maybe I have to wait until after Chicago, the World Championships, or for maybe they changed the qualification system. I don't know if you have some information about that.
No, no, no. I don't have anything official. No, no, no,
Okay,
no.
so I will wait until after the World Championships to know. But if not, I will train on the final part of August and September to arrive in a good shape to Maastricht or
Okay,
Hamburg. Yeah.
okay. All right. All right, awesome. Well, just one question to finish up. If there's is there one piece of advice you've been given or you've discovered while training for HYROX that you think's like been particularly beneficial for you?
Not for training in general, but the thing that we talk about the food, I think is really important.
Hmm.
People are making, uh, I think they are making mistakes and they are making not good decisions about food. And maybe in a short term, is it will be okay, but in a long term, maybe physically or mentally will be a mistake. So I will encourage people to maintain. You can eat what your body needs. So don't do a high calorie deficit, and try to eat well, and your body composition will go to the best place to have a high performance.
Okay. All right. Great. That's great. All right. Thank you for this. It's been brilliant. Brilliant to talk. It's great to see what you've done already in the sport, and excited to see where you can go from here. Um, if people want to follow you, find out more about you, your coaching, things like that, where should they go?
Well, now I'm coaching with Pele Performance, so you can, if you want coaching, you can contact Pele Performance in Instagram, and my individual Instagram is Aguayo3. I put a lot of information of how I train, and also I have with my family, and how is my day by day. So if you are interested, you can follow there.